Carmelo Anthony was just indicted in Texas. I told y'all that Carmelo Anthony was going down. When y'all all was attacking me and thought I was being a bootlicker, whatever else y'all called me, I told y'all in Texas, where they have law and order and where they have common sense, that Carmelo's going down. Now, I have nothing against Carmelo. I love that he, I hate to see a black African American boy go down. I really do. But this is a lesson to all black people to stop raising your children to be Black Panthers. Stop raising your kids to go out here. And that's why Martin Luther King way worked and Malcolm X didn't. Because that ain't how you teach your children to react if you felt challenged. But the videos and everything that are coming out are showing that it really wasn't self-defense. It don't tell him what type of hate that his parents, even though they had money, had put in his heart. So he's indicted. He's probably going to go to jail for life.
The Carmelo Anthony story has taken a wild turn, to say the least, over the last few days. Of course, we got the news that he was indicted, and when we got that news, some of his supporters started freaking out again, accusing everyone of being racist. They said that Carmelo was only indicted because he was a black man and because the white man is constantly holding black men down, that Carmelo Anthony was the victim of a white supremacist system. And then, of course, about a day or so later, Carmelo's family came out asking for $1.4 million. And look, I'm not saying that like everyone is upset about this. I'm not saying that all of Carmelo's supporters are mad and turning on him. But what I am saying is that there are some supporters that have seen this new request for money and it's not sitting right with them. I think they're starting to wake up to what's going on here and they're upset. They're asking, where did all of this money go? And look, I think that it's stupid to support Carmelo in the first place, but I also understand we live in a world where there's constantly narratives and propaganda shoved into people's minds, and I think there are some people out there that still don't really know the real story of what happened. They've only been listening to like the black social media influencers that they're subscribed to online. I feel like at least some, not many, but I do believe that at least some people would maybe change their opinion if they had all of the information that you guys have, because I've been sharing this information with you all. But we called it out from day one that this family was grifting off of the murder of Austin Metcalf. And they're still trying to do so. And here's the crazy part. Here's why a lot of people are upset. You see, Carmelo's family didn't even pay his bond. Someone else put up that money. So as of right now, Carmelo's family shouldn't have even scratched the surface of this over $500,000, over $500,000. They shouldn't have even scraped the surface of this money yet, because they didn't have to pay to bond Carmelo out. They haven't had, up until this point, I'm not saying that, lawyers are cheap, but we haven't gotten to the trial yet or anything. So as of right now, if this money is really for his legal expenses, his legal expenses right now are nowhere near, not even scratching the surface of the amount of money that has been raised for him. So it doesn't matter how you spin it, it's absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of Carmelo Anthony's supporters have been through legal troubles of their own that they had to get through. And they never had $500,000 to do so. And they know that there's no way that Carmelo Anthony's family should have ran through all of this money already. Especially because we haven't even made it to Carmelo's first court appearance yet. You know what I mean? It's not like we're going to trial or in the middle of trial or anything like that. Karmelo hasn't even made his first court appearance yet. Yet here they are asking for more money because apparently they did not manage all of those donations very well, and they feel like they need more. They're basically trying to replace the money they already raised because it seems as if they may have blown through it. So yeah, a lot of his supporters are like, wait, hold up, what in the hell is going on here? And they're kind of upset about that, and rightfully so. And, you know, just to make matters worse, of course, the news broke that Carmelo Anthony has, he filed out some paperwork, an indigent packet, to basically tell the courts that he's poor and broke and has no money, and he needs a court-appointed lawyer. So we're looking at the possibility here that they raise all of this money. They're asking for $1.4 million. They've already raised like over $530,000. We're looking at a scenario here where they may have a court-appointed lawyer for Karmelo. So Karmelo doesn't pay a single dime for his lawyer. And then where did all this money go, right? So people are seeing this and they're like, whoa, what in the hell? We thought we raised enough money for Karmelo for him to have one of the best lawyers that he could. But instead, they're looking and exploring options when it comes to court-appointed lawyers while still asking for more money. It just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense. And even some of the stupidest people in the world that donated to Karmelo are starting to see that. That's how bad this is. That's literally how bad this is. That people who were even willing to donate money to support a murderer are now sitting here second-guessing their decision. And they're realizing, hey, wait, yeah, you know that murderer I donated money to? It turns out that he's not as virtuous. His family is not as pure as we thought they were. I mean, big surprise. But as Carmelo Anthony is trying to explore options and possibly getting a court-appointed lawyer, keep in mind that his family does already have a lawyer who is actually a pretty good lawyer from everything I've heard. And he recently released a statement after Carmelo Anthony got indicted. And I never got around to showing you guys that statement because we got all of this drama going on. We got Austin's dad arguing with Carmelo's dad on Facebook. We got a lot going on. But I want to go ahead and show you the statement that Carmelo Anthony's lawyer released. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if this guy is still going to be his lawyer, you know, once the trial comes. But he did release a statement. I'm about to show you that statement in just a moment. But first, if you guys support the videos, please consider supporting the channel in one of these free ways. You could like the video, comment on the video, let us know what you think. Share the video on social media. That is very important. Please share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you really enjoy the videos, if you really support the channel, you can also donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. It is always humbly and greatly appreciated, especially when covering stories like this one, when I'm sharing opinions that aren't so popular, when I'm sharing opinions that could get me kicked off this platform. But with that being said, let's go ahead and roll this clip of Carmelo Anthony's lawyer, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Of Carmelo Anthony is an expected and routine step in the legal process. An indictment is a procedural step that happens in virtually every felony criminal case. It's a document that lays out for both the prosecution and the defense what the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt in court. An indictment simply means that a grand jury, after hearing only the prosecution's side of the story, determined that there was enough evidence to allow the case to move forward to court. That's all an indictment means. Karmelo and his family are confident in the justice system and the people of Collin County to be fair and impartial. Of course, Karmelo looks forward to his day in court. It's only in a trial that a jury will hear the full story, one that includes critical facts and context that the grand jury simply didn't get to hear. It's only in a trial that both sides get to present evidence and cross-examine each other's witnesses. This is why our justice system is based on the principle of a full and fair trial. That's because it's only in a trial that the full story can be heard and that impartial justice can be done. We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Carmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense. Self-defense is a fundamental right guaranteed every American. The law is clear. When self-defense is raised by the facts, the law puts the burden squarely on the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the citizen accused did not act in self-defense. The law does not expect or require the citizen accused to prove that they acted in self-defense. It's actually the opposite. The law requires the prosecution to rule out the reasonable doubt that the citizen accused may have acted in self-defense. We understand that this case has sparked strong reactions. Please remember that there are real human beings, kids, on both sides of this case. We ask that everyone do as the law requires and withhold judgment until all the evidence can be heard in court. We are confident that when all the facts are presented and the full story is heard, the jury will reach the right conclusion and justice will be done.
You know, it's funny because some of Carmelo Anthony's supporters, they've been sharing around this clip of Carmelo's lawyer, releasing this statement, and they've been sharing it as if it's evidence that Carmelo is innocent. Like, see, Carmelo Anthony's lawyer says it's self-defense, so it must be self-defense. And I'm just sitting here like, what? Don't you realize that he's doing his job? Do you think Carmelo's lawyer is going to come out and say, well, folks, I don't think we got a solid self-defense case here. I think my client is going to be railroaded. They're going to throw him under the jail. He's going to get life. We don't have a case here. You think he's going to come out and say that? No, of course. He's going to come out and say all of the right things. He's going to act extremely confident that he has a good case and that it's self-defense. And you got to remember, at the same time, folks, he's also trying to keep his job right now. He's trying not to lose this case right now. And I know he sounds really confident. Like I told you all, this is a good lawyer from what I hear. I know he sounds really confident. But if you look at what's happening behind the scenes, it's like their words sound confident, but their actions say otherwise. I think if they were really confident that Carmelo was going to get off with self-defense, do you really think that they would be exploring these other avenues about court-appointed lawyers? I think that maybe they're exploring that avenue because they don't feel like they got a good case and they don't want to waste money. Why waste all of the money you raised on a lawyer when you know that the results are going to be the same, right? So he can speak as confidently as he wants. The actions behind the scenes tell a different story. And at the same time, of course, he has to sound confident. You have to sound confident for your clients. Lawyers never go into a case saying that they're going to lose a case. They always say that my client is innocent, or my client did this and my client did that. And this story is no different. I just wonder if in his mind he knows that there are, conversations being had about him maybe not even representing Carmelo going forward. I wonder if he is aware of that. And in my opinion, I don't know this for sure, but I would bet good money that a lot of these decisions that are being made, a lot of these conversations that are happening behind the scenes, I don't think it's Carmelo's family initiating these decisions or these conversations. I believe it is the baby shaker activist that has attached himself to Carmelo's family, and I think that he's most likely manipulating them, trying to influence their decisions moving forward, wanting them to make the decision that is not best for them or Carmelo, but the decision that will ultimately be best for the baby shaker and his fake activist organization. So there's different powers behind the scenes. And I can guarantee you that the lawyer is probably giving Karmelo's family this advice, and then the baby shaker is giving them different advice. So we'll see how things go. But as of right now, there's still a lot of questions. There's a lot of turmoil going on. There's a lot of, Karmelo supporters are starting to turn. So it's really interesting to watch all of this play out. And I'm not sure exactly what direction this will go in next. But if the past week, can serve as any example of what we have to deal with moving forward, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy for sure. And it's already getting crazy right now. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.